We were identical twins. Then our faith paths diverged. My name is Hannah Cooper, and if you had met me a few years ago, you would have met my mirror, my sister Mia. Same face, same eyes, same messy curls, same laugh that people said echoed down hallways like one voice split in two. But today, I'm here to tell you how two twins who shared everything somehow ended up walking toward God at different times, and how that changed us forever. Growing up in Melbourne, our lives were simple in the kind of way that hides how fragile everything really is. Mum's double shifts meant the house often felt like a waiting room, quiet and half-lit, with her tired shoes by the door and a note on the counter reminding us to reheat dinner. Dad drifted in and out of our childhood like a passing season, present just long enough for us to get used to him, gone just long enough for us to stop asking where he went, so Mia and I stitched our own little world together. We were the twins people noticed on trams and in supermarkets, our matching raincoats and identical ponytails, making strangers smile. As we got older, the matching outfits faded, but our personalities synced like second nature. We moved as a pair, thought as a pair, argued as a pair, but underneath that unity were two different engines. Mia was the type who asked questions at bedtime. Why are we here? What happens after we die? While I rolled over and told her she thought too much. She wanted logic, purpose, answers. I wanted comfort, routine, anything that didn't shake the ground beneath me. Religion was just background noise to us, something other families dressed up for. We'd bike past churches on Sunday mornings and watch families walk inside, warm light spilling out when the doors swung open. It felt inviting, but in the way a stranger's home feels inviting. You admire it, but you don't belong there. And maybe that was the first difference between us. Mia was always drawn to the doorway, curious about what was inside. I was the one who kept pedaling, afraid of what stepping in might change. To be honest, adulthood hit us both harder than we ever admitted out loud. We were only 20, but it felt like the world expected us to already know who we wanted to be, where we were headed, and why any of it mattered. By day, we pulled espresso shots, smiling at customers, while our hands shook from too much caffeine and too little sleep. By night, we crammed for exams that never felt connected to anything real. We told everyone we had a plan, but the truth was, we were improvising our way through life, hoping no one noticed. Every evening after our shift, when the cafe lights dimmed and the city hummed outside, I could feel this heaviness spreading through my chest, a kind of quiet panic that whispered, "Is this it? Is this who you're going to be?" I would lie in bed scrolling through my phone, trying to silence that voice, trying to pretend I wasn't unraveling a little more each day. And Mia, she wore her struggle like a thin veil. No one else saw it, but I did. The way she'd pause mid-sentence, her thoughts drifting somewhere far away. The way she'd rest her forehead against the cafe window during our break, eyes searching the street like she was waiting for an invisible sign to reveal itself. She looked lost, yes, but in a different way than me. I was numb. She was restless. We had friends. We went to parties. We laughed loudly. From the outside, we looked like every other pair of 20-year-olds navigating early adulthood. But inside, we were quietly drowning. Same ocean, different tides. For me, the emptiness felt like a hollow space inside my ribs, growing wider each day. For her, it was a longing, a pull towards something she couldn't name yet. Two emotions that looked similar from the outside, but lived on completely different floors of the heart. And then came that night. The argument was meaningless. Dirty dishes? A forgotten chore. Something completely trivial. But suddenly Mia snapped, her voice cracking in a way I'd never heard before. "Hun, don't you ever wonder why we're here? What all of this is for?" The room went silent. I froze. Not because I didn't have an answer, but because the truth was, I had been avoiding that question my entire life. I didn't wonder. I didn't dare. Because I was terrified that if I opened that door, I wouldn't like what I found on the other side. This is where everything changed for me. Mia started reading, researching, watching lectures, talking to people I'd never seen her speak to before. She was drawn to Islam without even realizing it. I would walk past her room and hear Quran recitations playing softly. I didn't even know what language it was at first. I just remember the calm on her face, like she had finally found a voice that spoke to a place in her heart I didn't have access to. And I felt abandoned. Imagine having one person your whole life, and suddenly it felt like she was walking somewhere I couldn't follow. But the truth is, she wasn't running away from me. She was running towards something. And then, she said the words, "Hannah, I'm thinking about becoming Muslim." My heart dropped. Not because I thought Islam was wrong, but because change terrifies people who depend on things staying the same. I didn't know it then, but that moment was the beginning of both our journeys, just not at the same pace. The day she took her Shahada, I cried, not because I was sad, but because for the first time, my twin looked like she was standing on solid ground. She invited me to the masjid with her, and honestly, I only went because I was scared of losing her. I sat in the back, awkward, unsure, ready to bolt if anyone asked me a question. But then, the prayer started. Look, I still don't know how to explain it properly. I had seen religion. I had seen rituals. None of them ever touched me. But this, watching rows of women lowering their heads to the floor with such humility, it cracked something in me. It made me realize how long it had been since I'd felt sincerity. Real sincerity. Not performance. Not pretending. Just humans standing in front of God as they truly were. For months I kept going with her, quietly, silently, half curious, half resistant. I wasn't ready, not even close, but God has His timing. And sometimes that timing comes disguised as a night where you feel so lost that the only words you can produce are, "God, if you're real, please don't leave me alone." And He didn't. My Shahada wasn't planned. It wasn't poetic. It wasn't dramatic. It happened in our living room. Mia was in tears. I was shaking. And for the first time in my life, I felt whole. The twin who followed suddenly found something worth leading her own heart toward. Life after becoming Muslim was not a perfect fairy tale. Mum struggled to understand. Friends disappeared quietly. People made comments at work. But my sister and I, we became closer than we had been since childhood. And ironically, Islam didn't make us identical again. It made us individuals who finally understood who we were. Mia became the researcher, the deep thinker, the one who uncovers meanings. I became the one who feels things first, the emotional compass. And somehow, faith needed both of us. We still work as baristas. We still laugh too loudly. We still mix up our phones and confuse people at the grocery store. But now, everything has a direction. Our days feel anchored. Our nights feel calmer. Our hearts feel spoken to. And the most beautiful part, we didn't convert together. We grew into Islam separately, but side by side, like two trees planted next to each other. Different branches, same roots. If I could give advice to anyone listening, especially siblings, twins, families, don't rush someone's journey. Don't force it. Don't fear it. Look, guidance is not a race. It is not a twin competition. It is not something you can copy or paste from one heart to another. Sometimes God calls one person first, not to divide you, but to create a path for the other. If your sister finds faith before you, let it inspire you, not threaten you. If your brother asks questions you don't understand, let him search. If you feel lost while someone else is glowing, don't compare your timing to theirs. Every heart has its own appointment with God. None of those appointments are late. When people ask us now what it's like being Muslim twins, we smile, because truthfully, Islam didn't make us the same. It made us better. Two souls shaped in different ways, but guided by the same light. And I think that's the quiet miracle in all of this. We were identical from birth, but faith is what finally helped us see who we truly were.